When this young entrepreneur founded Nutritious Nation, he said he aimed to deliver food that's packed with nutrition, is balanced and does not taste like diet food. We caught up with Sagar a little earlier to find out what makes Nutritious Nation one stop for gym freaks and fitness enthusiasts. Sagar, tell us about the concept of Nutritious Nation. How did it start?
Well, I clearly remember this is about 2.5 years ago. While I was working with Cisco, so I was like, managing their brand campaign in India. And I remember I was one of those, funny people in office carrying my 4 meals and my protein shakes, and everybody used to look around and be like, this kid is crazy, and But what I slowly realized that over the course of time working for multinational in India, is that people, not just working professionals, but people across different age categories are looking at healthy eating options in this city. And everybody is just saturated with the likes of Subway and Quiznos and everybody. So we said, I kind of like spoke to myself in my head, and I said, this is the time that I could kind of like take a leap of faith. And I had all plans of going abroad for my MBA, but I said, let me hold on and give this a shot. And it's a fantastic time to be in the health food industry because it's here to stay and it's here to grow.
That's great. So if you could decode Nutritious Nation a bit for us, what kind of food do you serve out? How is it different?
What we've done with the menu at Nutritious Nation is I've kind of like designed it personally, from my own personal experiences, and after speaking to a bunch of different dietitians and nutritionists, and people who are passionate about fitness, in the country. So this is like an end-to-end. This is like a one-stop shop for anybody, who wants to aspire to lead a healthy lifestyle.
So healthy eating, seems to be a new trend, if I may say, these days. But what are some of the challenges working in this field, that you face every day? Obviously, it's difficult convincing people about the fact that this food is healthy and tasty at the same time. How has that been for you?
The way people have sort of accepted the concept in Delhi, it's been overwhelming. I think more so people who do not go to the gyms and who are not physically active and are working long hours are more in tune to eating healthy, simply because these people feel this is the only means for them to stay fit. And I just think it's just been the whole trend, the way people look at eating healthy is changing. And we are so happy to have broken that myth that health food can't taste good. And that was one of the fundamental things that we were trying to do right from day one. It's taken us a long time, but we're happy to have served over 30,000 customers, in the short time that we've been around. The underlying factor will still remain that we Indians are very, very passionate about food.
Yes.
We want it to taste good, and if the underlying factor states that guess what, the food that you just had was extremely healthy at the same point, I think it's a win-win situation. And
Final words. Do you think it's the right time to sort of be a food entrepreneur in India?
I think it couldn't have been a better time. And while we startups will always sort of experience their share of challenges. So I mean, I just think barring the challenges, I think it's a very, very exciting time to be around.
For those of you with a sweet tooth, frown no more. It's not just food that can be healthy. Nutritionist and entrepreneur Jia Singh came up with the idea of sugar-free, gluten-free and low-calorie desserts. Take a look.
It might sound impossible to use the words healthy and desserts together, but contrary to popular belief, desserts can be healthy. As young India wakes up to the trend of healthy eating, following global trends and embracing a newer lifestyle, healthy eating can now go hand in hand with desserts too. Delhi-based nutritionist and entrepreneur Jia Singh pursued sociology and health psychology at the University of New South Wales, Australia. While following a dietary regimen in Australia owing to her allergy to gluten, she switched to a gluten-free, sugar-free diet. But back in India, this became difficult to continue due to an untapped market. Jia then decided to turn the capital into a gastronomically healthy habitat with her venture.
Because India is not only becoming the diabetic capital of the world, but it's also the metabolic disease capital of the world. So, you know, stuff like PCOD, thyroid, metabolic syndrome, syndrome X, and just hormonal disorders as a result of an unhealthy lifestyle, stress, and other stuff. Going on a gluten-free, low-sugar regimen actually helps fix that. So you don't have to take hormones and pills and medication to sort that out.
Jia founded Petite Sweet Eats in 2013, a home-run bakery. The startup specializes in gluten-free, no-grain, no-sugar desserts. So do these taste exactly like other desserts? No, says the nutritionist. This is an acquired taste. But for those suffering from celiac disease or allergies, this is a big treat. Gluten-free, low-sugar desserts cater to not just people who are allergic to gluten, but also fitness freaks who are trying to watch their weight, or those suffering from hormonal issues like thyroid or diabetes.
When you are on a dietary regimen that excludes a food group or a kind of food, whether it's gluten or dairy or eggs, the idea is not to abstain or to make you feel like you're missing out on something, right? And I think deprivation is horrible, and it's a horrible feeling for anybody. So the idea was for you to have your cake and eat it too, despite your allergies or despite your predicament or despite your problem. And we found a way with a lot of experimentation to use different kinds of gluten-free grains like quinoa, amaranth, gluten-free oatmeal, coconut, almond flour, arrowroot, a lot of different stuff. Formulated our own blends that would then go into everything.
While India becomes more attuned to the idea of a gluten-free diet and its benefits, one of the main drawbacks in the initial stages of the venture was obviously sustainability, particularly sourcing of basic ingredients. Healthy replacements for desserts as compared to savory food are a lot more expensive. Natural sugar substitutes like almond flour or even exotic fruits for that matter. Affordability is one major concern. The second one is awareness.
Major challenge is awareness. So people often think that gluten-free eating is not appropriate, or a healthy dessert is not appropriate for somebody who is not diabetic or someone who doesn't have weight to lose, or again, someone who doesn't have gluten intolerance. But what people don't understand is that because we're slowly becoming the diabetic capital of the world and we're eating far more sugar than we should be, honestly, the figures are alarming. The main fear I have with running a startup like this is a lack of awareness. So people don't know that going gluten-free or eating a gluten-free dessert may have other benefits for people who are otherwise healthy, you know. So that's one. The second problem I have is with the kind of ingredients that we get in the market. So here, unfortunately, because the demands haven't gone up, you know, exponentially, and therefore we don't have as many suppliers.
While still in its nascent stages, consumers are giving a huge nod to guilt-free dessert options.
Well, that's a wrap on a very special show. Thanks for watching.
Anyone will now tell you comedy is serious business.
I am an insomniac. I sleep 3-4 hours a night.
That's you and Shah Rukh Khan.
Sure, except the level of success is different.
I used to read about comedians who are like, well, we read the room and then we change everything. I'm like, not me, man. I can learn one set and that's about that.
I'm an engineer, MBA, had a marriage and 2 kids. So basically never stopped making mistakes. Let me try and make another mistake. Now I'm a stand-up comedian.
Watch at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening on NDTV Prime.